Good morning, everyone. There's a quote that says, excuses will always be there for you, opportunities won't. In this week's Parsha, Hashem comes to Moshe in the burning bush and says, I want you to go take the Jews out of Egypt. And Moshe Rabbeinu argues with God, saying, I'm not the person to go and take the Jews out of Egypt. And if you follow the line of argument of Moshe Rabbeinu, he presents three reasons, basically, why he's not fit for this position of going to take the Jews out of Egypt. And these three arguments are really reasons that we often give for us not doing what we're called upon to do. Because everyone has their mission, everyone has their purpose, their calling in life, that God calls on you. It's not only Moshe that God comes to in a burning bush. Everyone has their light bulb inspirational moment where this is what I should do. And many times we don't follow through for various reasons. And if we look at what Moshe Rabbeinu says, we can see that these are the same reasons we give for not doing what we're called upon to do. First thing Moshe Rabbeinu says is, who am I to go to Pharaoh? Which means, I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, I have a stutter, I'm kfat peh, I have a speech impediment, I'm not articulate, I'm not qualified for this job to be the spokesman of the Jewish people. And what does Hashem say? I will be with you. Maybe you're not qualified, but if I go with you, you could succeed. And that's the first line of defense that we often say. Who am I? I'm not capable enough. We suddenly become very humble. Someone else is more qualified to do this than I am. I'm sure you've heard that excuse, right? He's much better at it than I am. Let someone else do it, right? Unlike Pirkei Avot, which says, if I don't do it, who will do it, right? Meaning it's your job to do. So basically the first argument is insecurity. I'm not confident enough. I'm not capable enough. And God says, maybe you're not capable enough, but if I assist you, you'll succeed. Second thing Moshe Rabbeinu uses as an argument for not going is, he says, the Jews won't listen to me. They won't listen to my message. When I tell them that they're going free, they're going to think I'm a Meshugana. After hundreds of years of slavery, they won't be open to hearing what I have to say. And God says, no, don't blame the Jews. Don't try to get out of this by putting the blame on them. They're not going to listen. If you go and you speak sincerely, they will listen. And that's the second line of argument or excuse that people often use. Blame the other guy. I'm willing to do it, but he's not willing to do it. I'm willing to go, but they're not going to listen. And finally, the third thing Moshe Rabbeinu says to God is, Shlach na b'yad tishlach. What does it mean? Send the one you're going to ultimately send. Moshe Rabbeinu says to God, look, I know they're going to go out of Egypt, but it's going to be a temporary redemption. It's not going to be a permanent one. Why? Because eventually they're going to go back into exile again. The destruction of the first temple, the second temple. So Moshe says to God, send Mashiach, who will be the final Redeemer. Meaning, why should I go do something if it's not going to have permanent results? It's going to be a temporary redemption. And what is this argument? Perfectionism, right? If I can't do it perfectly, if I can't get the job done entirely, why should I even bother doing anything if it's not going to be a permanent solution? And here Hashem says, you know what? Maybe it's not a permanent solution. Maybe there'll be future exiles after this. But if you could alleviate the burdens and the suffering of the Jews, even for a temporary period of time, you should seize the opportunity. Don't say, well, if I can't do the job 100%, if I can't solve the whole problem, then I'm not going to endeavor to do anything. Do whatever you can do. Even temporary or partial relief is also a redemption. And very often we do that too. We say, you know what, I can't solve all this person's problems, so I'm not going to get involved. Maybe you can't solve all of their problems, but maybe you could solve a few of their problems. Maybe you could alleviate some of their burdens, some of their pain. And therefore don't think of it as all or nothing. If you get involved, you do your best, and you help them, whatever ability you have to help them, that in itself is great and worthwhile. Don't say, send someone who could do the job entirely, completely. And that's when ultimately Hashem convinces Moshe to go. Quick story. Lubavitcher Rebbe used to receive people for dollars on Sunday mornings. It actually went all day. Thousands of people would stand in line and get a blessing from the Rebbe. So a very interesting story was a woman once came to get her dollar and a blessing. She started to tell the Rebbe her problems. And she cried out her heart, all the problems. The Rebbe gave her blessings and gave her a dollar for blessings. And then the woman started to reiterate them again. So the Rebbe listened, and after the second time gave her another dollar. Then she went on a third time. By the fourth time, the Rebbe's assistant, his name was Rabbi Grona, sort of pushed her away and said, you know, there are other people in line. You go. And pushed her away. Later, when the Rebbe finished, the Rebbe would stand online for like 6, 7, 8 hours. But like by 5 o'clock, when he finished, he would go back in his office and put away his things. And the Rebbe turned to his secretary, Rebbe Grona, and said, "Why did you push that woman away?" So he said, she told you her story once, twice. By the 4th time, I figured, you already gave her the blessings, and people are waiting, I pushed her away. The Rebbe said to Rebbe Grona, when a person comes to me with their problems, the Rebbe said in Yiddish, they have Steinreif in Herzen. They have stones sitting on their heart. It's a Yiddish expression. And every time they tell me their problem, nehmt up a stein from Herzen. They're taking a stone off their heart. And the Rebbe said to Rebbe Grona, "Was arte? Why does it bother you? As a Yid nehmt up a stein from Herzen. If a woman wants to take another stone off her heart, why don't you let her take another stone off her heart?" Sometimes we don't even have the ability to help someone, but just listening to someone's problem, just giving them an attentive ear and giving them some compassion and sympathy or empathy, that in itself relieves their burden. And so Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, if you could give someone a little bit of relief, even a partial redemption, seize the opportunity, don't say it's all or nothing. And that's what I was saying, is that everyone has their calling, everyone has their mission. If we open our eyes, we'll see the burning bushes in our own lives, the opportunities that are calling our name, and if we answer like Moshe, Hineni, I'm ready to act, and we're ready to do, we could change history the way Moshe Rabbeinu did.